And we're here. Fat bastard. If you saw, you degenerate imaginary viewer, if you saw the last episode, we talked about red flags. We're going to focus on the dating phase here. And don't talk about, we're not going to focus on like after the fact, you're married, you're committed, all that shit. We're just trying to weed out the bad ones. We're going through Tinder, we're picking up our dates, we're fucking a few of them, we're throwing them away because they're bad. But
Yeah.
starting with you, Anne, what red flags? I'm gonna let you lead in and just free ball it. Just whatever you want to start to talk about. What red flags do you want to talk about first?
Interesting podcast host tactic. Um, I mean, like, do you want to go in order of like the most obvious kind of? That might be like violence. I feel
Whatever
like
you
if
feel
somebody,
like. Yeah.
all right, yeah, that's probably like the highest thing that I would avoid. It's like, someone that doesn't like respect your personal space or like all up in your face or like, aggressive. It'd be like number one red flag. Sounds not very
Aggress.
interesting though. I guess
Just,
maybe second to that, maybe like doesn't see you as like a level playing field, like as an equal partner. You know, that's a big one.
wait. Roll back to the aggressiveness thing. What personal examples do you have for that?
I don't know. There's just some people, right? That they just come across bad. But I mean, I'm also speaking like I've never been on dating apps or anything. I don't know. That's not really a dating app thing. But yeah, like in person, if you meet someone and they come across, just like real aggressive, like I'm not gonna date you. I don't want to
So
get
you
wrapped in some shit.
so this
Like
hasn't
get to know,
actually
like.
this hasn't happened to you
Yeah.
first. Talk about a red flag that you
No.
personally experienced.
Oh, so you want something like I've dated someone and then there was like a red flag?
Yeah.
Um,
Don't tell me you're like Forrest. And it's like I had one boyfriend before Forrest, and or no boyfriends before Forrest. Come on, Ed. Come on, you gotta have something. You, nothing? Like not a not a. Yo, is my mic? Is my? Can you say something? God damn it! Technical difficulties. Shit. Yo.
okay, now I can hear you.
I couldn't hear you for the last. So I asked you personal experience red flags. I didn't hear anything after that from you.
Really? Okay. Shit. Well, yeah, personal experience probably let's see. What was I even saying? Oh yeah, just like people that lie. Like I hate people that lie. Um Especially, if you find something and you confront people about it, but then they like don't want to talk about it and you know what's going on, you've got pieces of the puzzle, but they won't give you the full story. That's a big red flag.
Okay, explain. Personal experience. Come on, you can just put fake names. I don't care. Just give me something here.
I feel like it's all more like conceptual maybe. Um I don't have like
What?
super specific examples. Like let's see. Like drugs is a good one. It's like, okay, if somebody is on drugs, and you like know that they're on drugs because, you've talked to their friends, but then they're like super in denial about being on drugs. And it's like, I don't personally care that you're on drugs. It's just like, it'd be good that you would confront that, I guess. like I don't like people hiding shit, you know? Like I'm cool with pretty much, most stuff, but I don't like it when, you're keeping your partner in the dark about like who you really are. I want it to all like resolve.
Okay.
Or like porn. That's another good one. Like, oh, okay. It's like who doesn't watch porn, right? But then, like let's get on the same page about that. Like what's the expectation there? Like at least acknowledge, you're not gonna I especially don't like it when people are like, "Oh, I'm this way around, some people, but then, you know, this is what, my girlfriend, the girlfriend side." I don't like being segregated into like, "Oh, this is stuff I can tell my girl."
Yeah, I agree. I feel that.
Yeah, that's pretty annoying.
So how many serious well, we'll start. How many dates have you been on? I know you said you don't do dating apps, so how many different people have
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, I've dated like quite a few people probably. I mean, since I was like in high school, that's like what, like 10 years? Um, so at least probably like 20 people that I've like dated, I would say. But
Uh,
most of the people I've dated, it's like I knew them through something else, so I was like pretty good friends with them, from for whatever reason. Like I'd already met them. I wasn't like seeking out somebody just to date them, if that makes sense.
okay. So of those 20, how many did you really have think about a future committed like what you have now? It was going in that
Mm,
direction.
Probably like 7, I would say. I don't know.
Okay. So you already cuz you said they were friends or you had a good friendship with them beforehand and it turned into
Yeah.
something romantic. You kind of already had an inherent filter on people because
Yeah,
of
yeah,
the
yeah,
way you
yeah. No,
found
I
friends on
wasn't.
them.
Yeah, that was like a big thing for me personally. Like I never would probably go try to date somebody that I didn't already trust at least a little bit, like as a person. I guess there's like another level of trust to like somebody that you're dating, but as a person, if I don't trust you, like I don't really want to hang out with you, then you're definitely not going to be somebody I'd want to date.
If Young Metro don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you. That's just a producer tag in a lot of my favorite songs. Future and Metro Boomin, love them up. So I don't know how many people you know compared to me, but I would go so far as to say most people when they're dating, that whole we have to be friends first thing, which I kind of agree with, but I just don't know how many people really have that friend group to draw on to really.
Oh, well, maybe I don't know. I've been doing things where, I've been surrounded by men pretty much my whole life. So, right, like I'm usually like one of the only women there. Like I'm an electrical engineer, right? So I'm
Wait,
just
what?
surrounded.
Wait, where'd you go to school?
What do
Huh?
you mean? I went to UT.
You went
I
to
went to UT.
UT? What? Come on, get out of here. Electrical engineer. Now I'm fucking with you. I know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know you like what this is podcast LARP. This
Wait,
is
where do you work
podcast.
at again? What's your name? Huh?
Oh, what's your name? No, you're not getting any more information. No, yeah. Yeah. And then before that I was in band, so I played trombone. There's like not very many women that play trombone either.
Of your female
So
friends, do you think they think they're the friend first type, or do you know you have friends that do the
what does that mean?
do the dating app shit?
Oh, oh, oh. I don't really have that many female friends. But like of my female friends, which is probably like five, um, I would say yeah, most of them like I mean, it's probably like a mix, right? You might be like on dating apps, but also, they probably meet people through other things they do. I don't know.
Well, what stories do you have that you remember from them that you can share about red
Well,
flags or some
people,
shit?
red flags. Uh, gosh, I just don't have a lot of, women perspectives to even pull from. I feel like most of, you know, one of my good friends, like she was already basically married when I met her. So there was like really no drama there. Uh
Another Forrest.
yeah, another Forrest.
Jesus
Honestly,
Christ,
she
all
is
you
kind of the
fuckers.
girl version of Forrest. Let's see. I have a couple friends from like back in high school, but I mean, they didn't have any crazy stories, you know. Nothing like on the scale of like Forrest. Um,
All right,
yeah,
so
I mean, like there's just like standard petty things, like oh, if somebody's not responsive, you probably are not their highest priority. Probably shouldn't keep dating that person if they don't ever try to engage with you. Like a really one-sided relationship.
yeah.
But you can get caught up with people even if they don't, give a
What'd you
try and
say at
make
the
it
end there?
work. I said you can get like really caught up in people trying to make something work that is just in the end like really one-sided, and the other person just kind of there for whatever reason
Have
that
you
they
had
might have.
this
Like,
have you had to simp for any of your previous dates or partners or whoever?
say I'm chill with being a simp in some ways. Like, I kind of wanted to set myself up to be able to date anybody. Like, I didn't, you know, I'd be chill like if the guy like wanted to be a houseboy, or wanted to be like a stay-at-home dad. So I'd totally simp for people. I'd buy people dinner. I don't
So in
know.
the past you've taken people out. You've taken guys out and you paid for dinner.
Yeah, what?
You
I
have?
feel
Okay.
like yeah. Well, I mean, like it's usually like a partnership. Like they pay for me. Okay, I'll pay for you next time, right? Like, or maybe like for his birthday, I took Forrest out to this great sushi dinner, right? Like, I made it special. I was like the ultimate simp
Oh,
sometimes, but then, he simps for me too. So I like
okay.
I like partnership a lot.
You like to what?
I like partnership, like reciprocity, I guess. Both people kind of doing the same thing. Nothing's really uneven.
So I'll talk about a little bit of my requirements, my flags. We'll start
Yeah, what are
with
your
we'll start with pay and how much of a broke bitch your potential candidate, your partner is. So I know there's this double standard. You start thinking about gender roles, stereotypes. Man makes more than the woman. So when you're dating, when as a man, you wouldn't care generally or shouldn't care how much a girl makes. But me personally, fuck that.
Yeah,
Get that shit
right.
out of here. If you are a broke bitch and you working at fucking McDonald's and just don't talk to me, and I'm not gonna talk to you in a long term way. If we're just talking about just pump and dump, obviously that's out the window. But if we're just focusing on long term commitment, relationship filtering and vetting and weeding out those, if you're not paid, if you're not making that guap, like Big Sean says, you got to get that guap.
Like something
Then
artistic though, or something that you really value that may not be, maybe she's not making a bunch of money, but maybe she's just doing something really interesting that you think is valuable in the world.
I
Or she could be like a stay-at-home mom. Like, what if she wants to be a stay-at-home mom and take care of your kids?
still a no. Still an absolute no.
Still a no?
She has to have a career
Huh?
before we get together. And she
Really?
can choose to give up that career or, do the part-time career thing, but she needs to be making as much as I'm making when before we get together and commit and all that. So we can like
Okay.
afterwards she can become a stay-at-home mom, but again, you better be making good money. And
Do you want someone to kind of like prove that they're like hardworking through in like a certain capacity? You want them to like prove that they can actually, support
that's
themselves financially.
I didn't think about it like that, but that is inherently part of it. If you have a good career and you're making good money, you should have a good work ethic. So, but
Yeah, I
really,
mean
it's
that's not something
about
you can fake, right? Very easily, you can't really fake. I guess if you're like trading stocks or you were like born into money, that's maybe something you should watch out for there.
oh yeah
But
yeah yeah the fucking trust fund kid. Yeah, that could be a
yeah,
That could be a
I mean,
problem.
yeah. How do you rate a trust fund kid? You know, maybe they got a job because their parents set them up, right? And they're just doing the bare minimum to get by, but they're still making as much money as you. Would you date that person, or would you go for that hardworking, McDonald's employee woman that maybe has two jobs and
Yeah, the had it easy, the had it easy bitch is probably a bitch.
yeah, right?
So
Maybe.
I would definitely take, like, if they're making the same and one's trust fund and the other one's went to college and took out loans and didn't have any help and shit. So I would definitely go for the harder working one, the one that took a lot longer,
Interesting.
did a lot more to get there than the one that started off with a small loan of $1 million.
Yeah. So you want someone with like an ambition, whether, whatever it is.
No, but
They just
actually,
gotta be
my first thought was I just don't want to be paying for everything.
okay,
Bitch
okay,
is coming, like, these dates. These shits get really expensive. These
okay.
fucking
Okay.
dinners and all this shit.
Would you be chill if like she didn't care if, she was like, "Oh yeah, you don't need to work, like I'll take care of you," you know? And she simps for you. Like, would you be into that?
So, we're getting a little off topic here, but
I feel like anybody is more interesting than me.
yeah, we haven't. I'll help you. We'll
All
go off
right. Dig
my
in,
topics and we'll do some more
Sure, sure.
hypotheticals.
Ask,
I know you're a
give me
hypoth.
some hype. I'm a hypothetical kind of person.
Great, yeah, we'll talk about it. But if a woman really did want to take care of me and I didn't have to work, I would appreciate it, and that wouldn't be a red flag to me. I would move on like normal, and I probably wouldn't just quit my job and quit doing what I was doing to just let her pay for everything. I would still want
That's
to
fair.
split things equally and keep doing what I'm doing. It's just about
Nice.
her being able to carry her own weight before we change things up in a committed relationship. So as long as she's taking care of herself, we can afford to split date bills and shit like that equally, vacations and traveling, all that shit equally. She's
Yeah,
paid, got her shit together, then we're good. Okay.
makes sense.
Next. Okay, so past. There
Ha.
I have a personal experience with a girl that I didn't start off. It was kind of a mutual friend, and then we became friends over time. And this was all completely
Yeah.
online. So I met
Okay.
the friend that we both knew online as well. So we were playing,
Makes
this is
sense.
like 2016, 17. We were playing games together. We'll just call this friend that I
Yeah.
met first, we'll call him Mad. Mad
Mad.
and I, Mad and I got really close, and we were cool. And then just one day, Jane pops up, and
Ooh, Jane.
she's, I think one night we're just talking, Mad's not there, and I can't remember exactly what we talked about, but over time she talks more about how she used to be, what her life was like before she became a teacher. And
Okay.
she mentioned a specific occasion where she had to run up. She didn't have a place to live. So she decided to find an abandoned house. And she said she
Huh.
was, I want to say the cops evicted her or found her
Oh
hiding
wow.
out at this house. And I can't
Yeah.
remember the details about what happened with her parents or her current guardian at the time. I can't remember if she had parents or not. But after hearing that, I was a little bit, I had sympathy, but
Mm.
I'll have this thing. I'll always talk to a girl, and if I feel a certain any sort of feelings, even if it's just friendship, I always consider. I'll hypothesize. What if we did? If I were
Yeah.
to
I think he
pursue
doesn't do that,
her,
right?
see, I don't know. I don't know. Look, I'm kind of like you in that I don't have a lot of experiences, so it's great that this isn't hypothetical. I actually am drawing from personal experience. So one of us has to fucking do it because you can do shit. Here we go. So I was like, I thought about it. I thought about if I wanted to pursue her romantically, and that definitely put a hamper on things because sometimes that baggage that you hear about in the friend phase and I'm just discovering her phase, not the hard dating phase,
Yeah.
can affect things in the future. And that's something you're going to have to deal with eventually. And
Yeah.
things like that, like being put out of your house and having to fend for yourself as a teenager or something, is just not something you easily or quickly get rid of. So
No, that'll probably stick with you forever. That's some rough shit. That's not like casual hardship. That sounds real rough.
yeah. So personally, and I have my own personal experiences that other people that I would probably see as a red flag in myself if I if I met myself and was like, "Hey," and I told myself about my past with my parents and shit, I would be like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, you're out of here." Would not date myself.
You wouldn't date yourself.
I would
That's like
not.
a red flag in itself, I
I
guess.
would. I would pump and dump myself though. Like we could have a good. I would have a good like friends with benefits thing with
No.
myself, but committed
Yeah.
relationship with myself?
Mm.
What?
With yourself?
No. No.
Oh.
There a few times, what was that episode of Rick and Morty where you was it Rick and Morty? He
Oh
cloned
no,
himself.
I haven't seen Rick and Morty.
This is probably in any fucking cartoon. You just need you're doing so much, you have so much to do that you're like, I wish I could
Uh,
create a fucking clone of myself, like a billion clones to do all this shit for me.
yeah.
And I thought if I made clones, I wouldn't easily get along with them. Shit would
Me
be
and my clone would just argue constantly. I'm incredibly disagreeable, probably from the so I've been told. It'd
same.
just
I
be like
don't
a room. It would be like a nightmare. Cloning me would be an absolute nightmare.
and yeah, keeping you all together. It's because now you
Yeah,
gotta me telling me what to do.
I'm
I don't
dead.
like being told what to do. So my
Oh
clone would
no.
be like, "Who the fuck are you telling me to go to work? Telling me to wash your clothes? Telling me to wipe your ass? Who the fuck are you?" Pop myself in the fucking mouth and get the fuck out. I'd be like,
Yeah.
bitch, I got your identity. I got your social security, bitch. I know your family and friends. I can just replace you. I could kill you. And I'm you. Okay? So shut the
Yeah.
fuck up. Don't tell me shit. It would
All
not be
right,
a
so
good idea.
you wouldn't date yourself because of your kind of your baggage if you knew everything about you and your baggage.
Yeah.
So, but like I guess as far as dating other people, would you not you were saying that being friends with them first can like bring up stuff and you might know more. Are you viewing, knowing more as a bad thing? Because I would see that as like a good thing. Like that means you kind of know what you're going into and what you would find out down the line if you did like get married and stuff,
It's a double edged
right?
sword. It's a double edged sword in that if it's really bad, again, I would hesitate on moving forward with that person. I'm not the kind of person to just, given my baggage, to just take on someone else's and have to deal with that too. So
Okay, so you're viewing it from the perspective like somebody's been through something, but you're assuming that it still affects their current life really intensely.
it depends. It depends on
Yeah,
how they explain it, how they feel about it, how they say they're moving on from it.
that's
So
true.
if they said they're still possibly dealing with it or they're like, I don't know how I feel about it, that would put me off more. But if they said, and then you have to observe them going forward even after you first hear about it, it's just they'll say they're over it, but then you got to keep observing them. They could still pop up in certain things and microaggressions and shit like that.
Yeah.
So
I think I enjoy helping people through stuff in general. I don't know if people that have dated me would agree with me actually being helpful, but I do like enjoy the process of trying to help. Like not just people I've dated, but like friends and stuff. Like anybody I'm close to, I feel like if you're going through stuff, like I don't mind being there. I don't view it as like taking it on as my baggage so much as just trying to help people sort their stuff out if I can help. There's not I mean not everything you can help stuff like
you couldn't help me
too
with my
much.
with my shit. You really
Yeah, like
couldn't.
I don't. we don't have a like a a real intense friendship even, right?
But if
Like
we did,
I
still
don't
no.
I feel like the trust still nobody could help you.
Yeah, no. That's
Yeah.
we'll talk about that in
That's
another
fair.
episode, and you can sit in on that. We'll go into my deep regrets.
Fat bastard backstory and regrets.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean
I'm
some
still
things
thinking
are
of
like
a episode
some things
name.
are in the past, but I guess like even then I feel like just talking about stuff can sometimes help you like I guess get through things that and kind of move on past it, even if it's something you can't change, right? Like obviously like I or any of your friends aren't going to be able to like go back in time and like change what happened, whatever it was. But
Right.
sometimes just like reframing it and like working through it can still be helpful.
And in a way, I think this about my friends, or I have a very few friends. So how I vet friends, or how the things that make me bring me closer to friends, is
Yeah.
the shit that would be seen as baggage to potential partners. And a perfect example is my friend Lee. We'll just call him
Yeah.
Lee. This guy, I met this guy in the cafeteria on campus, summer
Yeah.
2017. Shout out Lee. Hope you're all right. He's fucking spazzing out. He is a goddamn, he's tweaking. And at the time, I didn't even
Yeah.
realize it. But he tells me after the fact, he was like, I was fucked up in that cafeteria.
Yeah.
And I thought he was weird. He was talking to me. And I had just started working. I just started my job at that fucking apartment. And Lee is just like, I think we still got along even on the first conversation. But funny enough, he, he sees me as enough of a fucking pushover to just be like, hey, can I stay at your fucking apartment? Can I live with you for like a month or two? Because I just got evicted from my apartment, and he
Did you
lived
let
at
him?
that apartment that I was working at. And I said, yeah, yeah, you can sleep on my couch. And I was staying with two roommates at the time on Riverside, so I wasn't balling. I was living like shit. It was a shitty apartment, but I was like,
Yeah.
this guy's. He seemed like he wouldn't kill us or do some weird shit or
Yeah.
bring some weird people. I
You're
know I
like
told
trying
him.
to size him up.
I know I told him, bitch, you better not bring anyone to my fucking apartment. And I don't think he did. I mean, I think I left him there a few
Yeah.
times, so I don't know, but he sleeps on my couch, and I learn about his past and the shit he's been through, and that brings us closer. That whole summer he stayed with me, and we spent a lot of time together. I had good memories there, and
Yeah. That makes sense.
because of that, it was a shitty situation because one, again, I was broke. We
Yeah.
were we were both in school. We are just trying to make it. But
Mhm.
that kind of baggage, that kind of struggle you can talk about with people. And if I were to hear that as a potential partner, and my romantic, or my prospect says, "Hey, I'm going through this. I'm working through it." And like you said, you like helping people. I do feel like there is still potentially a future there if they're really open about it, and you
Yeah.
can connect with them on it. That can
For
actually turn
sure.
into a green flag. That can mean like, yeah, we can
Yeah.
really connect, we can work together.
It's like
And
they can open up, right? Like that's hard to do. And as long as it's not like manipulative, right? I mean, if someone's trying to like manipulate you or something and like use you for staying on your couch or whatever, and they're dishonest or they're not they're not actually like acting in the same way that they've told you what they're trying to do is. Like that's one thing. But if they're opening up and like actually, presenting and all internally consistent with what they say they're trying to do, then like that can definitely be a green flag. Like effort,
yeah, yeah, and
connection.
holy shit, did we turn this around? I was prepared to not actually go into just say like for you to agree that it was a red flag, but damn, you surprised me. You surprised me. And Coulter Richards shit. I know I said Coulter, but I meant to say fucking. So there's this character on
Yeah,
Red Dead Redemption,
yeah.
and her name is Anne. I want to say it starts with a C, and that's what I was thinking. But then I
Yeah.
remember I called you
No, we
Riches
all we
before.
all know what you were thinking. We all know what you were thinking. I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking with you.
Fuck
It's
Mike.
chill.
Mike's a bitch. Mike, if you're watching this,
He's
and I know you're gonna watch
cool.
this eventually,
No,
look me in my
don't
eyes,
shit on
Mike.
Michael.
Mike,
He's chill.
you are a bitch, Mike. Mike, you're a bitch. Has anyone told
Oh,
you
he's not
today?
here. You can't say this
He's
shit.
gonna watch the recording. Mike, you're a
Oh,
bitch.
well,
Has
it's
anyone
okay if
told
you're
you
out there in the audience.
today?
All three people that may or may not watch this.
0 viewers. I know you enjoy that. I
Zero
know you
views.
enjoy me shitting on Mike because I do too.
It's gonna
Please,
be like the theme of all of your podcasts.
if you see Mike, viewer, imaginary viewer, if you see Mike on the
Are you in
street,
love with him? Are you gay for Michael?
yes. If you see
Because
him on
like,
the if you see him on the street, viewer, tell him he's a bitch. All right, just tell him he's a pussy ass bitch. He deserves it. All
have you
right.
admitted that you're in love? Have you admitted this to him?
Yeah, I've
You just wanted
confessed.
to give you a
I've
big
confessed
cuddle.
my sexual frustration to him, and he
Really?
promptly rejected it. But the time it took him to reject it after I told him is getting increasingly longer. So what's happening here is a parabolic function. And based on my regression calculations, it's going to take about a year before he finally just crosses that threshold and is like, fuck it.
Gives
Right.
in. He's like, I can't take being called a bitch anymore. I'm gonna have to go gay.
Yeah, yeah. And then
Mm,
he'll regret it afterwards and he'll be like, I don't ever want to see you again. So yeah.
maybe, maybe y'all just be the perfect couple. Get married, not in Texas.
Wait,
Are you still there?
I thought they allowed, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, no, I can. I don't know. Do they? Is that a thing? I don't know. I don't know anything about marriage.
You're fucking, you're, how are you? I don't know.
I know. I know stuff about technology.
You're fucking,
I'm
you are a
fat.
man, dude. I actually,
You
now I
can
put,
ask Forrest.
Forrest put that shit in the channel, and I was like, I didn't know Aaron was male, but I was actually fucking right. You're fucking, you got the body of a
Hey,
man.
girl. Got
You
the
got,
hair.
you are a
Lovely man.
masculine. Like, we're just gonna get you some facial hair, and we'll get you some. And Forrest,
I'll wear a beard.
Forrest is gay, right? He's 30% gay. His words.
30%. We
So
don't know if his 30%'s into me or if it's the 70% that's into me.
So we'll get you a mustache, and that'll be role play, and he'll actually be into it. He'll be like, "You need to keep this
Yeah.
mustache."
And
And
I'm gonna need you to get this permanently attached.
yeah, dude,
Yeah, no.
he's gonna get you gender reassignment surgery. That's gonna be your birthday present.
Ooh, no, I could never.
You wouldn't do that. Okay.
No.
Red flag.
I'll LARP though. I'll
That's
LARP. Yeah, no. Red flag number 56. Somebody asked you to get gender reassignment surgery. No, not happening. But I'll wear the mustache. I'll wear the mustache.
All right. We'll glue it on. I'll get Forrest to glue
Yeah.
it on you at night.
He's convinced one of our neighbors that I'm gonna shave my head. And now she asks me all the time if I'm gonna shave my head. I don't know why he did this to me. But
You would look cool with the with the side shave shit. Like
yeah,
long on the top and then short on the side, like cyberpunk shit. You get the cyberpunk hairdo.
I don't know if I could pull it off, but at some point I feel like I gotta try it, before I get old and gross.
Get the leather jacket. Yeah, the leather jacket from
The
Cyberpunk. They
leather
probably
jacket,
sell those
or
for.
just like go full goth with shaved head.
Yeah. That would be sweet. That would be really hot. And I think Forrest would agree. All right.
He might, yeah. He
I
would.
give you Forrest's blessing.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
I speak
magical
for him
podcast host.
as his gay side bitch. I speak for him.
You're everybody's gay side bitch. You're just mad because Michael doesn't want a gay side bitch.
I know Forrest keeps saying that. Viewer, imaginary viewer.
You could go get jujitsu'd by Forrest. That's a little bit, You get full cuddles all over. Nice hug and some side control.
Yeah, no, I'm not I don't play fight. That'll never happen. But no, imaginary viewer. Look at me. Look at my face. Imaginary viewer. I was just joking, but Mike is still a bitch, and it's not sexual frustration. Okay,
Okay,
he's
move
just
on, move on, move on. This is making the podcast boring. Okay, we don't care about him. He's not here. You're supposed to be interviewing me,
yeah.
or we can talk about you. You know, we can talk about you. You know,
All right,
not
all
not
right,
about
all
your
right. We'll
past,
we'll move
but
on.
maybe
We'll move
about your
on.
future. Are you trying to get married? Like what's your deal? Where
Hold
do
on,
you
hold
see
on, hold
yourself
on,
in
hold
like
on.
10
We'll get
years?
back on topic. We'll get back on topic. Red flags,
Okay,
red
okay,
flags.
okay, okay, fine. I'll stop taking over. Red flags. Okay, red flags. Back to red flags. Oh, I feel like I don't have that many red flags. Maybe that's just me, but like the red flags, you know, as long as you're, trying and you're not lying to me, then I feel like I'll keep putting in effort, right? You
You're
still
an
there?
agreeable person. You're just a very
Oh, I got one. I got one. People that don't like confrontation. Like I would be horrible dating someone that doesn't like confrontation because I'm so disagreeable.
okay.
It's or people that like shut down and don't want to argue. Like I think I I really respect people's like physical space, but as far as like verbally discussing stuff, I I think I'm definitely the type of person that that has to have a partner that's willing to engage with a discussion.
Oh man. Now I know you have a personal experience for this. I know for a fact you definitely have something to talk about there. I know
I
you do, and if
mean,
you don't talk about it, I'm gonna bring it up.
what are you thinking of? Go on. Okay, what do you think is the exact experience
So
I'm thinking of?
Mike,
This is more of like a general thing. See, no,
Mike,
I wasn't thinking about him. But go on. Go on.
Mike is definitely the type to hear some shit, and this is personal experience. If Forrest and I and Mike are hanging out, Forrest and Mike start getting into it, Mike will not bite back. He does not bust back at Forrest,
Oh,
and
no. That is not what I mean. Like having okay. I mean like willingness to share your thoughts, I guess. So, like I feel like he's not a good example because he actually will like engage at least on the level of like, "Oh, this is what I think." And it's like, "Okay, maybe I can't negotiate with what he thinks on something, but it's like, okay, he is willing to engage on that level." I'm talking like people that like actually shut down. I guess I dated somebody like this back in high school maybe, but it was very much like if you tried to discuss an issue, like whatever it was always like, oh, it's just whatever, and one. Like nobody's gonna argue with me. It's like, okay, it's just whatever you want, right? They just shut down and you're like, game over. It's like they're not gonna be happy. They're still gonna go do whatever they want, regardless of whatever the conflict was. It's just like they're not even at the negotiating table to like get everybody on the same page, right? Like Michael will get on the same page with you. So I feel like he's not a good example of this. No, I'm talking like, conflict happens and then people that like run away. Like that's a big red flag for me. Like I've like broken up with people like that because that just it can't be a situation where it's like Anne's always right. I don't want to always be.
I need you to be a man and tell me when I'm wrong. But baby,
Right?
the last
No, no, no.
time.
I admit I'm a hard person sometimes to maybe disagree with, but like, so I think I end up being with like stronger personalities, but it's definitely not going to be good if I'm just deciding everything. And people have broken up with me over this too. Like, I dated one guy. He was just like, I actually can't say no to you. Like, I can't tell you that I don't want to go do that. You're just too like
Aggressive.
mentally aggressive. Yeah.
And that's the
And
thing you
it's like
said
I'm
was a
not.
red flag in the beginning, by the way.
Yeah, I was talking about physically aggressive. I do not mind I actually think being mentally aggressive is kind of like a good thing. Like I enjoy people that are like more narcissistic, more, you know, like sure of themselves, have opinions that they're willing to discuss. And it's like if we disagree, maybe that's like a fundamental reason to not be dating. But at least we can get to that point of like, okay, we actually disagree or agree on stuff. No, I was talking about like, I don't know. There's just like some people that, they get too close to you or like up in your personal space or like if you're dancing, they're just like kind of weird and creepy, like don't respect personal boundaries and like those are the people that I was talking about. like physically, like okay, this could be physically bad. Like I stay far away from people that like don't respect physical personal space bubbles and
So
stuff.
your situation with people don't want to argue with you, and it kind of made me think your that mental aggressiveness shit puts a lot of people off,
It
and that's
does,
a
yeah, but that's okay. That's totally chill. Yeah, I don't think that's something that I want to change, right? I mean, like I'm happy to try to be more pleasant. I think Forrest has made me a lot more pleasant by teaching me like how to have better discussions that are more productive rather than just, state whatever I'm thinking. But but yeah, I think it all goes back to like the honesty like thing, right? Like I want to know what people really think. And
man, these
I
fucking
don't know.
academic types, these book types, they're always talking about something. They're always trying to be right. They're always trying to prove something, trying to be smart, and I'm smarter than you type shit. It reminds me of high school. Talking, if you're one of the smart kids, you're seen as the smart kid, and you're hanging out with these. Shout out fucking John, and yes, this is real name, John fucking Jennings. Piece of shit. High school. He
I don't know
was
this person.
he was a holier than thou. Like, don't come at me. He
Oh,
will shit on you, and it could be any
oh,
academic
like a debate
discussion,
type?
and it's not a
Yeah.
debate. You're just stupid. you
Oh,
just
you're
you
just
just you're
stupid?
just stupid. What the fuck do you
No.
think? What do you know? I feel
Yeah,
like
I
you're
don't
that
think that
type. You're like, what are you talking about?
me?
Like, that's wrong.
No, 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 no. No, I don't think that well, I mean, maybe I am. I mean, I'm open to the idea. Could be possible. But no, I don't really I mean, at least on the intention side in my head, I'm not going like, "Wow, that person's stupid." I'm usually trying to be like, "Wow, I wanna understand why they think," is usually the question I'm asking myself. Because sometimes people can even sound really stupid, but it's actually, like, a really good point, you know? Might be something that nobody else thought of. So I wouldn't say that I'm, like, the type of person that thinks I'm smarter than everybody else. But I probably come across that way.
All right, hypothetical
My
situation.
family says I do.
Hypothetical
What's
situation.
up?
We're
Yeah, yeah, go on.
discussing abortion. Now, I'm going to
Okay.
take the stance of it should be illegal everywhere. No one should be allowed to do it.
Illegal
That
everywhere, okay.
that difference in opinion, I'm assuming your opinion, but if there was a difference in opinion between us on that
Yeah.
or any other big important issue or some huge controversial issue, would that be a red flag?
I mean, are you like I mean, what are your reasons for that? Like, I just wanna know why you think that. It's not like a red flag in itself that you think that, but I guess I'm asking myself, like, can your opinions be changed? You know, is there something that you know that I don't know that makes you think that? Um, yeah, I think I'd have to, like, learn more about your whole perspective before I was just like, "Oh, red flag," right?
But what could I say that would make you
Oh,
think,
that would be, like, you just like, fundamental
yeah, if I said, like,
uh,
for example, what if I
well,
said
this
in the
is, like, a good
Bible?
point. It's, like, in the Bible?
Yeah, what if I said,
Um,
like, the basis for abortion, it's wrong, it's
I
considered a
mean,
sin by the Bible?
that's chill. I don't agree with everything in the Bible. I mean, I consider myself Christian, but, like, I don't know, pretty loosely. There's definitely stuff I disagree with, so I'm chill with going to hell if that's how it's gotta be, but yeah, no, I mean, I think people interpret the Bible in different ways, and I think the Bible's been translated so many times that I don't know how you can say that anything is absolutely for sure, right? Unless you're going back to, like, finding the original document, and it's, like, known that men are like all everybody, sins and nobody's perfect, and that's like the whole Bible concept. So like why would their translations be perfect?
Okay. So what
And like how do we know people didn't like inject shit, at different times because of, the current times at that particular time? So I think I don't know. Bible is like meh for me.
I know yesterday I mentioned another example. I'll just recap here. There was a
Like give me the
girl
recap.
who I was just hanging out with, and the conversation just went towards police state. And she says police should be defunded. People should police themselves. There shouldn't be any firearms allowed. And
Yeah.
she was really trying to get me to agree with her, and she wanted me to yes
That's
man her,
interesting.
and I understood where she was
Oh,
coming from. I said as much, but she it just got awkward because she was really trying to she was really forcing, she was really reaching. So I guess,
yeah.
and she ultimately did block me. We never met again. So
Oh, really?
I guess that political difference or that socio-political
Yeah.
ideological difference was a red flag to her, or a deal breaker,
Yeah.
like Mike would say,
A
is a
deal
deal breaker.
breaker.
So,
Yeah.
can you think of anything, any ideological difference that would result in a red flag for you?
Probably anything where like I'm considered a lesser person because of something about me. That would be like I can't even negotiate on an even playing field, right? Because they're not going to even value my thoughts, right? That would be like a fundamental like, okay, and stupid, she's a woman. I mean, that's like the easiest one. But like, if that was like written into your ideology somehow and it wasn't just like casually, accidental or something, then like I'm not gonna go try to date you. I don't want to be a servant or anything.
So it's so you're saying they have to be willing to accept differences in opinion.
That is in a relationship should be able to accept differences in opinion. Like like you said, nobody wants to really date themselves, right? So you don't want someone exactly like you. I mean, I think the differences can make two better people, right? If you leverage them in the right way.
That depends on what opinions are differing.
I guess that's true. You can end up with two horrible. Well, that happens, right? Like some people, like you have friends that are like in a relationship and like separately. Maybe the two people are great, but then you get them together and they're like boring as fuck, or like super weird or creepy, right? Or just awkward. I don't know.
So
I don't know. There's no. I think the uh, like the lack of the ability to question your own ideas could be a red flag, right? Like if you're not asking like you're not willing to explain why you think something, like that's a red flag because then you haven't even thought it through. You're just like blindly believing people, which I think is not a great way to go about
ooh, that's a great segue into my yesterday I discussed another personal experience with a girl who
things.
was being discriminated against. She was a mixed breed. She was a muggle. She was uh
Okay.
she was biracial like Logic, but she was really trying to fit in with the black group. She attended this black social event, black fraternity thing, and they were dumping on her. She said they didn't want her to be there, and she just felt bad about it. She felt
That's rough.
rejected, and the other part of that was I found out she was only into black guys. So
Mm.
when I found out, I was that was a red flag for me because I was just checking a box for her. It felt like
Yeah.
she wasn't actually into me. She was just trying to fulfill some expectation about being with black guys or what her parents thought or what would people think if I wasn't with a black guy. And
Mm.
having those
Wait, but
opinions,
you said she was biracial though, so at least one of her parents was like a different race, right?
right, right. Her mom was white, I
So like
believe.
why would her parents be opposed to her dating any race if they were already biracial?
I don't know. I don't know if that expectation, that black thing, the only date black guys thing came from her parents. But
Oh, okay. I could have come.
I said yesterday, if you look at their previous partners, like your potential partners, previous partners, and you're physically like them, really closely physically like them, it's
Mm.
potentially a red flag because if it's just a hard requirement, and maybe some people, I know Forrest was like, what if, what if she only dates guys with 10-inch dicks? No guy's gonna be like, oh, she's only with me for my dick, man. It's only because I'm packing meat, man.
Yeah.
she wouldn't fuck with me otherwise.
Well, I think that goes to like identity, right? It's like how how do both partners identify? Like maybe, if she was only dating people that were black, and then you had a black person that was like really into their identity as purely being, they really just like identified with being black, then like that might be an okay match, right? Because like they're just both really into being black. But like if you have someone that identifies in a different way as, their sense of self, then that could be like a really big red flag. And then I think challenging you on like what you were saying about like if you look like everybody else. I think it's more of a red flag if you don't look like everybody else. Like that person's dated. Like you just might not be their type. I feel like, if they have like a clear type and you don't fit that type, like that could be a red flag in itself. Right? They're gonna break up with you at some point because they're just not into you
Yeah,
physically.
yeah, that
Right?
fuck. You
Like you're
and
calling
you fucking
me dating a
you
lesbian. Like at least I'm in line, right?
you smart
My odds are
ass,
better.
you smart ass, you. I gotta give it to you. I'm giving that to you.
Have you
Wow,
have you
Forrest.
seen
I know you're gonna watch this eventually, so this is for you specifically, Forrest. Wow,
Where's
this
we
bitch
love
is
you?
actually pretty cool. So she's got a
Hey,
head, she's got a brain on her. She got that
yes.
good brain, that good head.
But also, I'm gonna have to wear that mustache for sorry about that.
I'm
Thinking
cool
about
with.
shaving my head to go with
Okay,
it.
talk about
Yeah.
that later. Okay, so fuck. Now I'm trying to remember my train of thought. Okay, yeah, yeah. So what if her family did have certain expectations about her, about who she
Ooh,
dated,
see, this
and
gets this is rough, right? This is like a rough territory because then you're like, rebellious child, not in line with their parents at all. But like, it really depends on how that relationship is managed between the child with the parents that are super judgmental.
yeah, yeah, I agree. There's so in a situation where you're hanging with this prospect,
I've actually
and
been in this
okay,
situation.
well, go ahead
Like
and talk about it.
they like a while ago. I mean, there were definitely. I mean, this was never like explicitly said, obviously, but there were definitely undertones of like, oh, like white girls just aren't smart enough vibe. In my opinion, I mean, this is totally like young me being insecure too, but I definitely got those vibes of like I wasn't good enough for somebody's kid to date, right? And it's just like I don't know that wasn't like an ultimate red flag because like the guy that I was dating wasn't like directly like, "Oh yeah, I definitely agree with my parents," when they make these it's like, do they stand up for you? I think that's a good question. Like, do they have your back? Are they on your team? Or are they trying to like cover for their parents, right? Are they like, "Oh yeah, no, they didn't mean that. It's okay. It's all this is just how it is." Or is it more like, "Oh no, Anne's great. She's plenty intelligent. Like gonna be super successful." I don't know. It's just like it just depends how the tone is set. And I think it's that person that you're dating that has to set that and manage that relationship. Otherwise,
Say
they're just like feeding you to the wolves, right? Here's these parents that hate you and you're dating their kids, so they're gonna be extra aggressive.
so if you did know they were defending you, they were constantly telling the parents, "Hey, you're fine. There's nothing wrong here." That
Well, it might not
expectation
even
that
be like explicit, right? Like usually these things aren't like explicitly said, but it's just like how like body language, are they like scared of their parents or are they like confident in who they are, right? Or like have they said to you like, "Hey, my parents might be kind of shitty, like I know that, whatever, but like hey, I don't if it's them versus you, like I choose you over, this particular issue." Like it could be explicit or it could just be like they got your back. Like you don't feel scared going to hang out with their parents that hate you or
so I feel like
something.
I know the answer to this, but in this hypothetical situation, let's say your potential partner has a really best friend and that best friend doesn't like you at all and they make it really obvious and your partner tells them you're fine, this is just unfounded, but
Yeah.
still he continues to hang out with them and you guys are all together sometimes, and would you get annoyed by that? Would that eventually push you if he doesn't, the friend doesn't change? to
I mean,
break it
it's
off?
more like action based. Yeah, so I think it like depends on how serious the relationship is, like how serious the friend is hating you, and like can that friend's mind be changed over time? Like, are is this hypothetical person like able to integrate me with this friend in like a eventually happy way? Because there's definitely been like some friends, you know, with Forrest where it's like, oh, maybe I didn't really like, or like my first impression of this person is like, oh, I don't know if I can like vibe with this vibe. But then it's like, oh, over time, Forrest is really great at integrating like a bunch of different people from completely different, you know, types of ways of thinking like into a cohesive friend group. But yeah, I've definitely been in situations where I'm like, I don't know if I could be friends with this person, or like this person seems like they hate me. But then it's like down the line, maybe I find out they don't actually hate me or something. Like it really just depends. But yeah, if they okay, in your specific hypothetical situation, if this person continues to hate me forever and the person I'm dating just wants to hang out with them constantly, either doesn't want me around or like, you know, tries to make us all hang out together and it's just a horrible relationship for me, like yeah, I'm gonna break up with them. Duh.
Okay. And I agree. Yeah, that he has a best friend or she has a best
I
friend
mean,
and this bitch just does not like me and I can't get a word in edgewise. Like I'm completely fucking shut down all the time. Shit's done.
it's like I don't want to be in a threesome with some guy that hates me and some guy that I kind of like, right? That sounds awful.
Worst threesome ever, man. I'm putting a 0-star review on Google, man.
No.
Worst threesome
Google
partner
Dates?
ever.
How does Google Dates not exist yet? I feel like
I think that's one of
yeah,
those cutting board ideas that someone did a prototype of, and they were like,
Google Dates.
you know how bad this is gonna go. Like some manager's like, you know how shitty this is gonna get real fast. Yeah, no, get out of here, Tom.
Mm.
Get that shitty idea out of here. But you know what is a good
Uh,
idea?
what?
Going and fucking yourself. This fat bastard. Get the fuck out of here.